Hey guys, welcome back to Ryan City Gaming. This is your boy Blackfire, and today we're going to be taking a look at my horror game collection. And a lot of these games are actually horror themed, so I'm going to include all those games in here. So let's get started. It's a pretty big collection, so let's jump right in. We'll start off with something everybody knows. We'll go with Resident Evil Origins Collection. This is the remake for Resident Evil 1 and 0. Really enjoyable. I think you can still get it pretty cheap digitally and physically, only for a few bucks. I highly recommend it if you love Resident Evil. Definitely get these ones. Sadly, I don't have the original versions of these games. Sadly, I wish I did, but I don't have them. So we'll move on to Resident Evil 4. Really good. I also got the remake, so I'll show that here in a second. I want to show you these ones. This special Resident Evil 4 GameStop edition came with all these extra little goodies. Little book. I'm not sure if many people have this version of the game. Comes with a little picture too. Little dusty. And of course the game, since it originally released for GameCube, as you can see on there it says only for GameCube, because the creator did not want this on PlayStation, but then eventually it did come out on PlayStation. As you can see, I have the PS4 version, but it did come out on PS2. I do not have that version of the game. Get this back in here. So it's the PS4 version, which you can buy digitally or physically. Next up we have Resident Evil 4 Remake. I was going to do this in order, but since I was doing 4, I might as well show all the versions of 4. Remake is also very good. They changed up a few things, but it's still a very, very good game. Now we have Resident Evil 2 Remake, which is also very good. Probably one of my favorites in the series. I recently did a PS5 and PS4 collections video, so you'll see a lot of these games in that too. Resident Evil 3 Remake. Gonna try to go through this as quick as I can. I have a lot of games to get through. I can't talk about every game in great detail. I would love to, but I can't. So it's also an okay game, not as good as Part 2 Remake. And here we got the Resident Evil remake for GameCube when that first came out. That was the first version of it. That came out in, God, what was that, 2002, 2003? I can't remember. It was quite a long time ago. What date's on there? Can't really see it. 2002. So I was excited when this came out because they added a whole lot more stuff to the game. More areas to explore. They added, I think it was Lisa Trevor to the game. Next up we got Resident Evil Revelations. Also a pretty good game. I enjoyed it. Beat it on the hardest difficulty. I think it's called Inferno or something like that. Really tough. Highly recommend you playing on the hardest setting like that. It makes it so much more better. Good game. I also have Part 2, but I have that digitally. I have a lot of digital horror games. I probably won't include those. I might put it in the item description, but that's about it. And then we have, up next, Resident Evil 5. I got on PS4 and Xbox 360. Of course, it came out on 360 first, of course. Then I bought it again because I wanted to play it with my buddy online. With the PS4 version, because he didn't want to play the 360 version because he didn't have a 360, so... But yep, everybody's played that. Everybody knows all about Resident Evil 5. Ain't got to talk about that too much. Next up we got Resident Evil 6. Once again, I bought it on both consoles. Because I had it on 360 first. And think about a couple years later, I bought it on PS4 so I want to play it again with my buddy online. So, pretty cool. I think this version came with, what was it, Code Veronica X, Resident Evil 5, and Resident Evil 4. So this came with all the digital versions of the games too. So I got multiple copies of these games over and over again. I've played them so many times on all these different consoles. So very excited for that. Pretty cool to have. Next up we got Resident Evil 7. Another good game. This was the first one they did in first-person view. Not my favorite way to play a game. I kind of like the originals better, but the game's okay. Alright, next up we got the last game that came out, Resident Evil 8 Village. Once again, this was first-person view, but they did add a third-person view in a later update, so you can play either way if you want to. I prefer the third-person view. So, once again, a good game. And that should do it for my Resident Evil games. We'll so grab a stack of games here and go through them, guys. Alright, these are going to be the horror-themed games right here. We have the Onimusha series. Hopefully I said that right. I got all the original PS2 versions. If I can get them all on camera. And then I have the original PS2 version and the one that came out on PS4. Bought that a couple years ago when it came out. I can't remember exactly. Not too long ago. I don't remember much about the series. I don't know what the story's about. I can't remember. It's been many years since I played these games. It's hard to, take time and go back and play games when I have so many games to already go through that they're, new games that are coming out, stuff like that. I hope I can get back to these games one day and play them again. I did enjoy them when they came out. No lie about that. Really good games. So you like horror-themed games? I think these games have tank controls, so if you're not into tank controls, it might be a bit of a problem for you. We'll take a look at the back of the cases real quick. Here's part 2. They changed the protagonist to a different protagonist. Like I said, I wish I could say the overall story of the games. I'd have to go back and play them all, before making this video. I have to make a more detailed video on just a particular series of the game than doing this and showing all my games and trying to, like I said, going into much detail about all the games. It's just going to be a little too much. I don't want to make a 3-hour video. So good games, highly recommend them. I'm not sure how much they're going for nowadays. So like I said, I bought these originally when they came out. So nowadays they might cost a little bit more. So next up we got Days Gone. Pretty good zombie game. I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend if you like open world zombie games. A lot to explore, a lot to find. Next up we got Friday the 13th, the game. I think this is going offline here in a couple months because they lost the rights to it. Or something like that. I can't remember exactly. This copy is still sealed. So I got it digitally also when I bought this. They gave me a digital copy. So this will stay sealed. It's just sad they couldn't do more with it. Because there was fights over the rights of the game and the ownership of, the license, stuff like that. So that kind of really messed it up for the game, which is kind of sad. Next up we got Made of Scare. It's another one, I think it's first-person horror game. Been a while since I played it, and my memory is awful. That's for sure. I do remember enjoying it though. So if you like horror games, pick it up, play it for yourself. You won't be too disappointed. Next up we have, let's see, what's the first one? This would be the first one. Remothered Traumative Father. This is the first game in the series. This one I didn't like as much as the second one. I actually like the second one more. But a lot of people didn't like the second one because it was very, very glitchy when it came out. But still, it's still okay. And this would be the second one right here, Remothered Broken Porcelain, which I like more. So finally fixed all the glitches, or most of them anyway. So it's okay. It's not like the best game out there, but it's still okay. I enjoyed it. Next up we got what everybody likes to call the walking simulators. Man of Medan. I enjoy these horror, themed games like this because it makes me feel like I'm playing a horror movie, which I really, really enjoy because I love horror movies. I got a nice big horror movie collection over here. I might, one day go through my horror movies. I don't know, maybe. If there's any interested in that. But definitely, Man That's pretty good. You can get, like, I think all the games on one disc or compilation or whatever for pretty cheap. They sell them all together now. The next up would be Little Hope. That's the second game in that series. Pretty good. I liked it. Story's not as good as the other games, but it's okay. Like I said, it's the whole horror movie thing, I really enjoy. Next up we got the Walking Dead Telltale series. Oh, this is okay. I liked it. We make your choices, and your choices do have drastic outcomes. So everything you do does have consequences, so, you know, make your choices very carefully. Next up we get Little Nightmares 2. Like I said, a lot of these are horror-themed games. It's not every game, you know, people think horror is just going to be survival horror like Resident Evil. Like, no, man, there's other things in horror you can play too. It doesn't have to be just Resident Evil. You can play games like this and enjoy them because they're horror-themed. And just like this game right here, Bloodborne. That is horror-themed. It's got, you know, like the... I can't remember much about it. I haven't played it in a long time, too. Damn, all these games I haven't played in a long time. God. So I think I bought this when I first bought my PS4. Oh, when did I buy it? Back in 2013 or 2014. I don't remember exactly. Because I bought the white PS4. It came with Destiny 1, I believe. All right, next up we got Devil May Cry. Really good. Throwback game from way back in the day. This came back in the early 2000s, definitely. And I got a couple of the other games somewhere around here. I gotta find them. So next up we got Cold Fear. This was the first, like, Resident Evil 4 knockoff that came out. I remember I tried to go buy it at my local store. I tried to get the same price as a GameStop price, but they wouldn't give it to me for the same price, so I had to go to GameStop and buy the game. They told me they'd price match. When I told them the price, they was like, "Nope, we're not going to price match that. It's too low." I was like, "All right, then you lost my money altogether. Then bye." That's a good game. Pick that up if you could find it. You know, a lot of these older games, like the PS2 games, can go for a lot, you know, like online and stuff, so that kind of sucks. I don't know if you guys can emulate the games, but I highly recommend you play all these games. They're really good, especially this one, The Suffering. Oh, really good. So I don't think this one is too much. Really good game. Highly recommend it. I also have the second game, which I'm trying to get back from my brother right now. I think I told you guys a story about that. I bought the game, was playing it, it froze at one part in the game. So I went and exchanged it for another copy of the game, played it again, and it froze at the same exact point in the game again. So yeah, I just gave up. I gave it to my brother. And me and him were talking the other day. I was like, you know what, I want to try to get another playthrough. So if you can give it back to me, I appreciate it. So I'm working on that. He doesn't live very close to me, so it's going to be a bit before I get that. And next up we got, let's see if I can't do these in the order. What was the order of these games? I don't know. Oh, this one first. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 2. I do not have the first one. I have this one. Really enjoyed this one because I played the Blood Omen, the original one, first. And then I played Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. And then this one, I think, was the third one to come out in the series, I think. Because I'm trying to remember this stuff from, 20 years ago. It's pretty hard. This one right here is Blood Omen 2, Legacy of Kain. Highly recommend you play all these. I think a few of these are getting a remaster that should be out pretty soon, actually. So I will be getting that to replay those. And we got Legacy King Defiance. I think this is the last in the series. I'm trying to remember if it ended on a cliffhanger, because I think there was supposed to be more games that were supposed to come out, but they just didn't. I don't remember exactly. You could probably find a channel that can go into more detail about the series than I can remember. I'd have to go back and replay all these games to, remember everything or go online and read a summary or something. Alright, next up we got Shadow Hearts. Really good horror game. plays, the gameplay is, it's kind of mixed. It's definitely horror, like a Resident Evil game, but the combat's more like a turn-based RPG. Really, really good. Really recommend it. You should definitely get this. I know they made sequels. I do not have the sequels. I never even heard the sequels until like recently. I was like, huh, I had no idea. Back in 2000, I wasn't making a whole lot of money, so I couldn't buy a ton of games. Because the pay scales back then were a lot lower than they are today, that's for sure. Next up we got The Thing. This is a really good game. Highly recommend it. They're actually making a remake, so if you can't get this, get the I guess it's kind of a remake, remaster. So definitely get that. You have to play this. Highly recommend it. It is canon to the movie. So this takes place right after the movie. So pick it up. You have to get it. Trust me. You have to get it. You have to play it. It's really, really good. If you like horror games, this is a must-have for your collection. Next up we got Galarian's Ash. This one I did not like. It's not a very good game. I think I played it for a couple hours and gave up. Look, I even tried to sell it at a garage sale. Nobody wanted it. But now that I have it, after all these years, I'm going to keep it. Because I tried to sell it when I first got it. I just didn't like it. Because the first game was really, really good. This one, I just did not like at all. I might go back and try to just finish it, maybe, I guess. I could try. So I do have the first one right here, actually. This one is actually really good. Highly recommend this. If you can get it, cheap, get it. If you can emulate, well, I don't want to try to emulate too much because, piracy isn't the best thing. But if games are no longer available for you to find, and, you can't buy them in the store or anything, and your only option is, piracy, I don't see what the big deal is, I guess you could say with that. Because the only other way you're going to get it is third party off somebody on eBay. So the company's not going to make any money from the game sale, so why can't you download it, online for free? Why not? I don't get it. What's the big deal? If it's a new game, don't pirate it. If you can find it in the store, don't pirate it. But if you can't find it anywhere and it's nowhere for sale, then maybe, maybe. Not saying to do anything illegal, just so you know. But next up, we got Code Vein. Really, really good game. I enjoyed it. This plays like I guess like a Dark Souls game. Vampires and all that stuff. Or something like vampires. I can't remember exactly. I remember enjoying it. It's got a little anime flavor to it. So if you like anime and Dark Souls, this is kind of Dark Souls anime right here. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked it. Alright, next up we got Fade to Silence. This game I did not like. I tried to platinum the game. It's just, some of the stuff in the game is just RNG. So, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. If you get it for like $1, then maybe play it. Or I think it had it on PS Plus. You could play it on there, see if you would like it. But yeah, it's not a very good game. Next up we got Black Mirror. This one's another, more of a walking simulator, but third-person walking simulator. Its story wasn't really all that engaging. I don't know. It's kind of just meh. I think this is also on the PSN Plus. You can just play it for free if you want to. If you have PS Plus. Anyway, moving on. We have... Actually, hold on one second. Next up we got The Evil Within. It's definitely horror. That's for sure. Lots and lots of horror. This is the nice slipbook case with the little hologram cover on it. So the game's okay. I didn't really like it that much. I was hoping for something a little more closer to Resident Evil, but it's like they went overboard with the horror. they threw every horror theme possible at you all at once. Like a little too much. So like this one, even Within 2, I liked a lot better. It was a more... I can't really think of the word right now, but I did enjoy this one better. The story was better. The world was better. I recommend this. I think you can get this pretty cheap still. It's not that expensive. So it's not old. Now, 10, 20 years from now, it might be expensive. So get whatever games you can now. Trust me. And just save them. Don't trade them in. Don't take them to GameStop. Keep your games. Always keep your games. Next up, we got Tormented Souls. This game is fantastic. Highly recommend it. Plays a lot like an old school Resident Evil game. Highly, highly recommend it. If you like old school horror, Even what was I thinking? The voice acting is very old school too. Very, very corny, very... You'll see if you play it. Next up we got Alan Wake Remastered. I actually do have this one on 360 also. Really good. I enjoy this one a lot more than the new one, actually. Let's stay at the 360. Alright, I seem to have misplaced the 360 version I had. What then? Oh, I'll find it somewhere. Alan Wake, yeah, pretty good. I got the second one digitally. Don't like it that much. I like the first game better. Next up we got Remaster. This game is not very good at all. I would not recommend it. I saw the trailer, had hopes for it, but then I was very disappointed when I played it. But, you know, take in mind the game was actually done by one person, so that's a accomplishment, I guess. Other than that, yeah, the game is just not very good. I did not like it at all. Next up we got Oxide Room 104. It's another game I did not like very well. It's got very, very poor voice acting and game mechanics and just, yeah, I just did not like it. But you can platinum the game in about a few hours. The game is really short. You can steamroll right through it really quickly. So if you want an easy platinum, go for it. Other than that, don't think you're gonna be impressed by this one. They do got another one, Oxide Room. Is it 105 coming out now or 30 something? They got a new game coming out. I'm gonna check on the new game. Hopefully it's better. That one not so great. Next up we got Phobia Santa Fina Hotel. This one is actually really good. Highly recommend it. It plays a lot like a Resident Evil game, but it's first person. So I really, really, really enjoyed this one. So definitely check that one out, guys. Highly recommend it. So, next up we got this nice mountain of games just stacked up right here. We got Akai. More of like a Japanese horror. Very, very different kind of horror game. So it's not going to be nothing like Resident Evil, nothing like that. So if you get it cheap, I say check it out. But like I said, you won't be overly impressed with a Resident Evil game, nothing like that. So I still enjoy it though, for like, you know, the atmosphere, stuff like that. Next up we got, got another one of these. House of Ashes. I enjoyed this one. Had a little more than Little Hope had, that's for sure. So I liked it. I had fun with it. Played with my buddy. We enjoyed it. I might go back one day and get the platinum. Like I said before, these are kind of hard to platinum. Well, not hard, but they require a lot of your time to platinum because you have to play through them multiple times. Next up, we got Returnal. I've talked about this before on the channel. It's really good if you're into roguelikes. Pick it up if you can get it cheap. You won't be disappointed. They actually added co-op to it to make it even more fun so you can play with your friends. Next up, we got Callisto Protocol. This game is okay, made by the guys who made Dead Space. So it's alright. I didn't care much for the combat. I thought the combat was very repetitive and annoying as hell. But if you get it cheap, pick it up. It wasn't too hard of a platinum for me. Next up we got Upsilov End of Gods. This one's I guess you can call it space horror. It's definitely very, very, very weird. Like a lot of these indie games are just like have very, very weird stories. That's for sure. Next up we got, wasn't really sure if I wanted to include this game, but I had to read up on it. I guess these would be considered French Gothic horror. So they are horror, because of the rats and all that stuff, and they got the plague going on. It's pretty intense. I really, really enjoyed the story of both ththese games. Really good. I highly recommend to get them. So I think you can buy them now together in one pack. So definitely pick them up if you get them. You know, pick them up if you get them. Definitely pick them up. You won't be disappointed in the story. It's really, really good. The combat's, it's okay. Next up, Madison. Really enjoy this one. Like I said, a lot of people would probably consider this a walking sim. Like a lot of these indie horror games are exactly the same, where you just walk around and do things. No real combat. You just find things, do puzzles, stuff like that. But it's enjoyable. It's definitely very creepy. It spooked me a couple times. So yeah, it's pretty good at that. So pick it up if you want to play something, you know, independent horror, walk sim. But yeah, pick it up. Next up we got The Quarry. This is another one that's a horror movie type game. I really enjoy those. They're not for everybody, I know, but I really enjoy them. Like I said before, I like horror movies. Especially like this. This is very campy. Reminds me of like the 1980s horror movie where you got all the kids at the camp. Pretty much like Friday the 13th, you know? That's pretty much what this is. With werewolves. Yeah, pick it up if you like that kind of stuff. Next up I got Fort Solace. This one's more in the realm of slasher horror. So there's no real combat I can remember, other than like a few QTEs and that's it. But if you're into that, you know, slasher mystery on Mars thing, then you'll like this. Plus, it's pretty cheap and it's a very easy platinum. So if you want an easy platinum, I think it was like 20 bucks when I got it. It's fairly cheap. Alright, next up we got Ad Infin... Oh god, I hate saying this word. I can never get it right. Ad Infinitum? That's German for infinity. I haven't spoke German since I lived there 30 years ago. But it was okay if you want some weird horror walking simulator stuff. It's alright. Alright, next up we got Devil May Cry DMC. I did not like this at all. Oh, goodness. This is a pretty terrible game. I would not recommend it to anybody. If you're going to play Devil May Cry, play the actual Devil May Cry. Don't play this steaming pile of garbage. This game's terrible. Ugh. Ugh. Throw it away. Garbage. Next up we got Dead Rising. Everybody knows about this game. This is the reason why I bought a Xbox 360 back in the day. I was playing at my cousin's house. Like, this game was a lot of freaking fun. So I went and bought it myself. Bought 360. Never looked back. Those were good days, man. I miss those days. Wish I can go back. I actually just bought the remastered version of this for the PS5. I should get up and go grab that. It's actually on top of my PS5 right now because I'm actually playing it right now. And here's Dead Rising 2. Another fun game. Highly recommend it if you can get it. So I know a lot of these games are back on sale on Amazon. They're pretty cheap too. A lot of these games are like 30 bucks now, a lot of 360 games. So get them while you can. Because once they're gone, they're going to be super expensive. Next up we got Dante's Inferno. Really good game too. I think like one of the first games I bought on the Xbox 360 back in the day. Is it still sealed? Oh, not. Okay. I was going to say, wait, I thought I played it. Yeah, really good. It's a lot like God of War. So you like God of War? The original games? Play this one. You have to. It's a must. Play it, man. Trust me. You won't be disappointed. Next up we got Alien Isolation. Really, really good game. Highly recommend it. It's probably one of the best Alien games you're ever going to play. I actually did rebuy it for PS4 digitally. I need to stop doing that. I hate buying digital games because you don't actually get to physically own them. So if you like Alien, you want a good survival horror, yeah, pick this up. You won't be disappointed. It's really good. Next up we got Fear 2. Highly recommend this. Really, really good game. I never played the first one or any of the games after it, but this game is really good. Highly recommend it. You will not be disappointed in this game. Plays like a lot like pretty much Call of Duty with a lot of horror. A lot of creepy crap going on. So, highly recommend it. It's a really good game. Next up we got Bioshock 2. I actually used to have Bioshock 1, let somebody borrow it, never got it back. So the Bioshock games are really good. Highly recommend to anybody that likes first-person horror shooters. Really good games. You can buy them now, like the collection for dirt cheap on the PSN store, Xbox store, for just like a few bucks. Or sometimes you can even get them free. So definitely play those. They're really good. Next up I got Dead Space. Everybody knows Dead Space. Really, really good game series. It takes space horror to the extreme. Really good. Highly recommend it. Everybody knows everything about Dead Space. I don't need to talk about it now. The games have been out for, what, God, all over a decade now. This is the remake. You said the original, let somebody borrow it, never got it back. So, don't let people borrow your games. Keep your games. Next up we got Dead Space 2. Another good game. I haven't played it since release, but I did enjoy it. I remember that. Really good. Highly recommend it for anybody out there that loves the first Dead Space. Definitely pick this one up. Because I think they're probably still pretty cheap, or if you can get them online. So yeah, pick it up. And next up we got Dead Space 3. Not so many people like this one because they went all out with the damn action. Kind of horror took a back seat. I still enjoyed it for the story, you know, learning about the marker and all that stuff like that. So if you want more stuff about the story, you pick it up and play it, you know. The combat's very different, the weapons are very different, but yeah, it's still okay. I didn't hate it. I'd still play it again, definitely. Next up we got Left 4 Dead. I bought this because my brother was playing it. He told me to buy it and play with him. I did not like it. I played it for maybe an hour or 2 hours, and I was like, yeah, this just ain't the game for me, so I never played it since. But I guess some people like it. It's just not for me. Next up we got Devil May Cry 4. Really enjoyed this. Played it for many, many, many hours. Tried to play it like the hardest settings, but that was too much for me. This game could be really freaking hard on the harder settings, and some people just get right through it very easily. I'm like, yeah, those guys got skills. More than I got, apparently. But yeah, definitely a lot of fun to play. So I think I have Devil May Cry 5 somewhere around here, too. Where did that go? Alright, next up we got Devil May Cry 5. Had to go look for it real quick. I didn't have it in my stack here. It was still in my cabinet. This one I did not finish. I didn't enjoy it that much. Maybe one day I'll go back to it. I just didn't like it that much. Right, next up we got The Chant. This game's okay. It does have some combat and horror elements to it. If you can get it for cheap, I'd say pick it up. It's not gonna, you know, blow your socks off or anything like that, but it's okay. Alright, next up we got Lies of P. Really, really good. If you like I was gonna say Devil May Cry. If you like Dark Souls games, it's pretty much like that. Where you play as Pinocchio, and you fight against other puppets. It's pretty good. I highly recommend it. Next up we got Lords of the Fall, another Dark Souls kind of game. This one I did not like that much. I played with my friend. We finished it and then we never went back and playing it ever again. It just was kind of just, eh. So yeah, that's that. Next up we got Lord in the Dark. This is a somewhat remake of the original. I'd say reimagining, probably a better way to put it. It was alright, I enjoyed it. Kind of quirky. Pick it up if you get it for cheap. You won't be too disappointed. It's alright. Next up we got Daymare 1998. This one's okay. Kind of like a Resident Evil game. It's kind of, needed more polish, definitely. Like, as far as the animations, the inventory system, all that stuff, wasn't all that great, so yeah. If you can get it for cheap, I'd say play it. It was kind of lacking in that, you know, the polish department. So when they made Daymare in 1994, they made a lot of improvements. This one I highly recommend. It's a lot better than the first game. I actually did play this one on my channel, did a full playthrough. So you guys can check that out. It was a lot of fun playing this one. They even got the Platinum Trophy. Alright, next up we got, going back to the old school, Dracula, The Last Sanctuary. This I only played for a few hours. I did not like it. Wasn't very good at all. I think it was only like 20 bucks when I bought it. 2-disc game. So it's pretty long, I guess. But yeah, I just couldn't get into it. I just didn't like it. Next up we got this one I just did a video for. Slitterhead. If you want to see the unboxing of this, it's on my channel. Go ahead and check that out. I don't want to open all this up again and go through all the blocks again. So go ahead and check that out. Next we got Bloodstained. Really good. Made from the guy who did the Castlevania series. Highly recommend it. You can get it pretty cheap. I played the demo and then I liked it so much I went and bought the game. And I went ahead and got the Platinum too. Really enjoyed this game. It's more like a Metroidvania. Speaking about that, next up we got Castlevania Symphony of the Night. This is one of my pickups I did a video for. I got it from Goodwill for a few bucks. So good. It was a good find for me. As you see, they put a bunch of stickers on it. So I was going to peel those off. Thank God it's only looks like painter's tape on that, so it doesn't really stick to the case. So really good game. This is what started the whole Metroidvania thing, other than, you know, Metroid. But yeah, really good. Highly recommend it. Next up we got Castlevania Curse of Darkness. I do not remember this game at all. I don't even know what it's about. But of course I bought it and played it apparently at some point. I don't remember anything about it. The mechanics, the story, nothing. I'm definitely going to have to replay this because I do not know anything or remember anything about it. Next up we got Castlevania Lament of Innocence. I don't remember anything about this game too. So a lot of these games I bought, 20 years ago. I'm not going to remember every game I've played. It's going to be impossible because I play a lot of games. It's impossible for me to remember everything. So that's, yeah, Castlevania. Next up we got Castlevania Lord of Shadows. This one I do remember and I did like it a lot. Really enjoyable. Don't know why my cover is so dirty. If you haven't played this one, I highly recommend it. It's really good. Plays a lot like God of War game. So not so much Castlevania as it is God of War. Next up, we got Castlevania Lord of Shadow 2. This one I did not like and did not even finish. I did not like it that much. They completely changed a lot about the game and it just made it felt so low budget. It just didn't have the polish of the first game. And the first game had Kojima working on it. I don't think this one had Kojima working on it, so it definitely shows. Next up we got Silent Hill. Bought this the first day it came out. Love this game because I played this. Well, the reason I got this is because I played Resident Evil, the original one back in the day, and just fell in love with survival horror. So when this came out, I had to get it. Really, really good game. I don't know if many people can get this. It's like super expensive if you want to go and buy it online. And there's no digital out there for the game, any of that. So unless somebody uploaded it online through emulator, then maybe you can play it that way. As far as getting a physical copy, yeah, you can have a hard time finding a physical copy unless you want to pay big bucks for it. But if you can play it, I highly recommend it. Right, next up we got Silent Hill 2. Probably the best in the series, everybody will tell you. I don't need to speak much about it, because everybody else in the world will tell you all about it. That's for sure. But if you can get the original, or play the original, play the original. I highly recommend it. Next up we got Silent Hill 3. This is probably my favorite in the series. Like I said, most people like 2. I like this one. For me, this is my favorite one. Next up we got Silent Hill 4. This one's a little more... I liked it. A lot of people didn't like it. Thought it was too different from the Silent Hill series. Well, it worked for me. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It came out like right after Part 3 too, which was crazy. They were just slamming these games out, back to back. Alright, next up we got, let's see, we'll go Silent Hill Shattered Memories. This one I did not like at all. Some people like it, I just didn't like it at all. It was a reimagining of the first game. This has no combat, nothing. You just walk around and look at things. And run away from one monster. Yeah, didn't like it, but now it's like I think the highest valued game in the series, especially the PS2 version. This one, I think goes for over $300. So I'm glad I got it for $17 when I bought it at GameStop years ago. Next up we got Silent Hill HD Collection. Bought this a couple months actually on Amazon. It's still sealed. It was only 30 bucks. So I didn't have it, so I was like, you know what, I'm almost go ahead and add it to my collection. So you can play this one, part 2 and part 3. But this version of the game, it's very buggy, not very good. They changed a lot of stuff in the game, so play the originals. But if you can't get the originals, then I guess play this one, but you'll be disappointed by how they play. Next up we got Silent Hill Downpour. I did not like this one either. I didn't care for the characters, the story, anything. I just did not like this game at all. Just not a good experience for me. It just didn't feel like Silent Hill. It just felt like a generic horror game. They just slapped Silent Hill name on there. Next up, Silent Hill Homecoming. Bought this on Amazon also for 30 bucks. I had it originally when it came out the first day. I let somebody borrow it and never got it back. So I just recently bought it again to fill out my, Silent Hill collection. I think the only game I do not have is like Book of Memories and Origins. So I kind of don't want those. So next up we got Silent Hill 2 Remake. Really good. Everybody's, I think, still playing it right now. I did get the platinum for this. It took me like 3 or 4 days. Really enjoyed it. Played the crap out of it. Highly recommend it. If you can get it, definitely pick it up now. Alright guys, that should do it for my horror game collection. I might include my digital game collection too, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. With that, guys, I will see you next time.